Fandom Fighters Podcast.
Bringing you weekly fandom-related news that apparently, I don't know.
Weekly-ish.
Weekly-ish, yeah. It's a good word for it. I'm sorry the new episode has been taking so long. Episode 9? Is this episode 10?
Yeah, this is... wait, no. No,
this is
episode 9.
Episode 8 has been taking a little while to get up, and I apologize for that. I have been sick / going to TNT.
And I'm having technical difficulties, and I'm the one who has to edit it, so...
So, yeah. Welcome back.
Woo! So...
Those of you watching on Cwood's channel.
Yeah.
Because my channel doesn't do the WLP segment.
Yeah. So, what have you been watching, listening, and playing?
I get to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Watching? Not much. Literally for the last week now, me and Noah have been like marathoning Orange is the New Black because she wants to watch it because she doesn't have Netflix.
Yeah. So
we've been watching that. It's a good show. I think it's decent.
I've never seen it, so
it's okay.
I remember when it first came out, everyone was talking about it. I was like, holy shit, the show is amazing. I'm just like...
It's not bad, but I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like the greatest show ever made or anything.
Firefly.
Are you taking a picture of me? Or are you taking a selfie? Really? In the middle of the podcast, he's taking
I'm taking a picture of you.
He's taking a selfie, guys.
No, I took a picture of you.
Did you really?
Yeah, I'm going to post it online.
Send it to me.
Yeah, it's going up on Instagram. It's like, recording Fandom Fighters Podcast.
For those of you can't see me, for all of you that can't see me, I bought a Proto Man, plush helmet. And it's soft and adorable, and I love it, and I wear it everywhere, except for work. And so I'm wearing it right now with the glasses on, so I feel ultra swag.
It's a little weird because I can't see his eyes and it slightly bothers me.
It's funny. Listening to, I got to be introduced to a J-Rock band via a live performance, their first American live performance, the band Chanty. It's like shanty, like a sea shanty.
But spelled CHANTY! Exclamation point!
Well, I put that exclamation point because they were amazing. God, they had so much energy. They were very cool. And whose computer is making noise?
Sorry, I thought I had it muted.
Where's the button? Okay, there we go. I got it. Okay. Moving forward. Yeah, we're prepared.
Totally prepared, guys.
Other than that, playing, I really haven't gotten a chance to play very much. Song of the Deep just came out. Insomniac's 2D Metroidvania underwater submarine game.
How is that?
It's fun. I haven't gotten to play a whole lot of it. I played maybe 30 minutes. I think I said that in the last podcast too. Because I believe my girlfriend said something about how I died in the tutorial. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool.
Either you're horrible at that game or that game is just crap.
It's it was directly after the tutorial, and I couldn't figure out how to attack because the item that you get at the very beginning to grab things is also your item to attack, and I didn't realize that until it was too late. I really like it. I want to play more of it. I'll let you guys know how it is after I'm done. I might let you borrow it, depending on...
Have you played Affordable Space Adventures?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought it kind of looked like that, so I was going to ask if it's anything like that. I have that on the Wii U, and I just thought it was kind of I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it so far, so... That's me.
Watching, I've recently started watching Tome again, Terrain of Magical Expertise. Have you seen that?
Nope.
Oh, it's a animated series on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, and your favorite person to interview, Kyle Hebert, he's in it.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he plays a webmaster.
I see.
He's one of the people who... So it's kind of like one of those... it's like Dot Hack and Sword Art Online where it takes place inside a video game.
Okay.
Except they aren't really trapped in the video game. They can log out whenever they want, pretty much.
Okay. So my trigger to say it's a poor man's Dot Hack is slowly lessening.
Well, a lot of people
my opinion on Sal.
A lot of people like to say that it rips off Sword Art Online, but it actually came out before that anime, so
it rips off Dot Hack.
Dude, it's made by Chris Yossi Kerbifer, and he who plays a character named Kerbifer in the show. So
right,
whatever. And he actually says that his main inspirations for it were Dot Hack and Mega Man Battle Network.
Because Dot Hack was awesome.
I don't even remember Dot Hack from when I was a kid.
Dot
but
Hack
Battle Network, I remember that. Battle Network works.
I haven't played much of Battle Network. I played maybe like 3 hours into the first one.
I had Battle Network 3 white version, and Battle Network 5 Team Colonel because they wanted to do the Pokemon thing.
I have it's a fake. It plays the game, but it's not Nintendo's cartridge. And I didn't find that out until I tried to sell it.
So it's like it's a bootleg?
It's a bootleg, yeah. Oh. It's a bootleg version of Mega Man Battle Network 5? Was that one of the ones that Pokemon?
Yeah, where there were 2 versions.
Oh, yeah, it was...
Battle Network 5 had Team Proto Man and Team
it was Proto.
Yeah. I got the Team Colonel version because I was like, oh, this guy looks cool. Fuck Proto Man. Right? Nah,
Then again, Protoman.exe was not the coolest version of Proto Man, in my opinion.
He was alright. I mean,
it's still better than
he had
Zero.
That really long anime hair that was almost like Zero for some reason. Nah, but I grew up on Battle Network, so it's I had the games. I watched the anime on Saturday mornings. I mean, I liked it when I was a kid.
We got to stop the evil Dr. Wily.
That was Big Man 8. That was in the Battle Network anime.
Right. I forgot Battle Network had its own anime.
Yeah. So I watched that on Saturday mornings.
The ones that did Mega Man 8 also did the original cartoon back in the late 90s.
Yeah, but...
And it was fucking shit.
Yeah, I watched the Battle Network.
The best part of that whole thing were Proto Man's one-offs. God, this is the best part of that show. The sarcastic relief of that show was great.
I also had some of the toys. I actually still have them somewhere in my house. So I have a Mega Man.exe and a Proto Man.exe, and there are these action figures that they're damn near a foot tall.
Cool.
They're really big. Not a whole lot of articulation, but they're kind of neat. And then I also have a Gutsman style Mega Man, because one of the big things with Mega Man Battle Network was he could change into these different styles based off the different navis. So there's a Gutsman one, there's a Metal Man one, stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. But I've been watching a lot of Tome. It's really good. The voice work is surprisingly good. Before the podcast, you showed me a thing with JonTron.
Yeah.
He's dressed up as Bob Ross, but JonTron's actually in this show.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he plays a minor character.
That's cool.
I
heard he's going into voice acting.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Or acting in general. I mean, that's why he did Starcade.
Yeah. And it's got a few people from Team 4 Stars. So it's Moscow X is in there. I think Antfish is in there.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. It's got Shady Vox, if you've ever heard of him. He did Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Abridged for a while.
I don't follow anything other than TFS.
Yeah, but it's got a one of the main characters is played by Martin Billany, Little Karibo.
Okay.
The guy who does Frieza, DBZ Abridged, and
he also
Yu-Gi-Oh!
made,
Abridged.
the original Abridged.
Yeah, he plays.
I follow him on Twitter.
He plays a very fan favorite character in Tome. He plays Nylok, the dragon of Tome, and he's this dragon humanoid character, and he role plays for the whole. He's one of those people who role plays in the game.
Okay.
So he role plays as this epic hero, and he talks very boastfully and is really energetic like this, and yes, and Nylok, master of blah 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 blah, and it's amazing. It's wonderful. And then episode 6 is an episode that focuses on him.
That's cool.
And a bunch of his friends are having these really big emotional issues, and they try talking to him about it, and he doesn't know how to respond. And so he's sitting on the bench with one of his friends, and one of his friends is that wasn't what's wrong, and he's what do you mean what's wrong? And they're that's not how you usually act, and he goes into how it's a coping mechanism for his depression. I'm just what the hell? But it's a great show. I finished season. I rewatched season 1. It's 10 episodes.
Okay.
And it's animated, and the animation's not TV quality, but for pretty much a solo animator, it's really good actually.
Okay.
And
I'll go give it a look.
Yeah, and season 1's got 10 episodes. Season 2 has 6. Season 2 has a lot more professional voice actors in it. You've got, like I said, Kyle Hebert is in it. You get Todd Haberkorn in there as well.
Cool.
I can't remember the lady who plays Jessie in Pokemon.
Oh, Michelle Knotts.
I think she's in there. I could be wrong. I think she is. Ben Diskin.
Your favorite voice actor.
Yeah. Xehanort Senpai, he's in there.
Senpai.
He plays a
Shoutouts to Zane. I can't do it. Whatever.
Ben Diskin. He plays like a lot of like characters in kids shows though.
Yeah.
So like he's been in like Spider-Man, like a lot of Marvel
numbers
shows.
1 and 2 in Codename Chris.
Yeah, and like he's in like Digimon and stuff. He plays the most foul-mouthed character I've ever heard in my life in Tome.
That's
literally
perfect.
just throwing out all of the obscenities. It is great.
That's funny.
Yeah, but I've been going on about Tome for too long. I'm fanboying. Playing, I haven't played too much. I just started Far Harbor in Fallout 4.
We have lives. I'm sorry.
I just started Far Harbor though.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting DLC. When I last left off, I found a giant hermit crab.
Okay.
And you know how like crabs, they find their shells?
Yes.
Okay. It was using a van as its shell. like someone had cut off the cab of a van and it was in the van. And holy shit, I cannot kill this thing. There's a giant hermit crab chasing me down, and it's like trying to claw at me, and if I get too far away, it like recedes inside its shell and spits out baby hermit crabs that then go and chase me down, and it's
That's funny.
I'm like shooting at it with an assault rifle. I bring out my laser rifle. I'm throwing grenades at it. I shoot it with a harpoon. There's a harpoon gun in the Far Harbor DLC, which is awesome. And none of this is doing like anything to this giant hermit crab. I cannot kill it.
That's funny.
It's like, oh, I just so happen to leave my fat man back in the Commonwealth. Well, fuck me. I can't kill this thing.
I guess I'll just go kill myself.
Pretty much. Listening, I haven't been listening to too much. I've been listening to some Nate Wants to Battle. More podcasts. That's pretty much it.
Same old.
I barely listened to Hamilton, so
what?
I'm slowly getting off the Hamilton. What? She's fucking impossible. But yeah,
we don't kill Pokemon.
we don't kill Pokemon. Yes, you do. We do.
We do it for you, prick.
Oh yeah, I've been playing Pokemon Go.
I have not.
I got to level 13 in Pokemon Go, and it's all right. I got great balls now, so that's kind of cool. Great balls.
I've always had great balls, but
but yeah. God.
I'm gonna before we go on to the next segment, I'm gonna apologize real quick. I am still feeling the con crud. So if it shows up and you can hear my voice is different, I apologize. I hopefully will be better next week.
Yeah. But right before we go into the new segment, I did watch a movie.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and it actually has to do with our segment. Because okay. I bought the original, I bought the Star Trek Original Motion Picture Trilogy, which is, weirdly enough, 2, 3, and 4. Because fuck number 1.
Because fuck 1.
Because fuck the first one. I want to watch Star Trek, not 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Shots!
No, like, legit, that's what the director said he was trying to do with that one, was make the next 2001, and that's not what Star Trek is.
I'm gonna download, like, a soundboard sounds, and I'm just gonna imply them into the podcast as we go from now on. But,
I watched Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, which is...
Khan!
Outside of that, it's classic. It's not only is it a meme, it's a classic sci-fi film. It's really good. I highly recommend it. But
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
So.
But going into our next segment,
here comes a new challenger.
Space.
The final frontier.
I remember. You remember GlitchCon 2 years ago? With Vic Mignogna?
Yes.
Do you remember him doing the Star Trek
continues?
The Star Trek in Edward Elric's voice?
No, I missed that.
Space, the final frontier. It's so fucking funny. He just went through the whole thing, and we're dying in the audience.
I missed that.
For those of you that are fans of Vic, he's actually on like a fan-made Star Trek series.
It's Star Trek Continues.
Yeah.
Because, for those who don't know, Star Trek is 50 years old this year.
50 years old.
Good God.
Just 50?
Yeah.
Wow, it feels like it should be much older.
If you feel about if you think about it, though, Doctor Who turned 50 like a few years ago.
That's
though.
crazy.
Yeah.
Star Wars is like what, 30 or 32 or something like that?
I'm not sure.
84
because it was made in the 70s.
Oh, was it the 70s?
About
okay.
mid to late 70s. Like I think.
So it's like 40 now.
Well, I think like Return of the Jedi came out in like 81. So.
Moving on.
Yeah, but Star Trek, it's 50 years old. And that's with the original series, which ran for 3 seasons on, I believe, CBS.
Oh, I actually have the wiki right here. I guess I could look that up. Huh?
But that followed the crew of the Starship Enterprise on their journey through space to find new planets, new races, new civilizations. And it was supposed to be a 5-year mission, but it got cut short because they only got 3 seasons. So actually, Vic Mignogna's Star Trek does continue on. It's the same crew, new cast, obviously.
Right.
It's the same crew and the same Starship Enterprise, basically continuing that 5-year mission.
So, just the first line of the wiki here. So, Star Trek is an American science fiction entertainment franchise created by Gene Roddenberry and owned by CBS and Paramount Pictures. So, yeah, CBS.
Yeah. But yeah.
I don't know a whole lot about Star Wars. I know it exists.
Star Trek.
I'm sorry. I know a lot about Star Wars.
Yeah. We'll do that probably when Rogue One's about to come out.
Yeah, probably. You know, because placement.
Yeah. Well, that's actually why we're doing Star Trek right now, because
50 years.
50 years in Star Trek Beyond. Star Trek Beyond, the 3rd movie in the current reboot, is about to come out. So yeah.
I watched the new Star Trek, the first one. I haven't seen Into the Darkness yet, or this new one that's coming out because it's not out. But
so basically with the new ones, they more or less rebooted it. There's some continuity that does actually connect it to the old Star Trek, but that's a little spoilery.
Right.
The first one's all right. It was actually the first Star Trek thing I'd ever seen. Surprisingly enough, just because I'd mostly avoided it.
I think it was mine too. Actually, I knew Star Trek existed.
Well, it's like when I was growing up, like when I was really young, like too young to be watching Star Trek, pretty much.
Right.
Like I think Deep Space Nine and Voyager were on, and Enterprise was on as well. But by the time where I got to the age where I would actually care about Star Trek, none of those shows were on anymore.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and so
that might have been what happened to me too.
Yeah, it wasn't until that movie came out until I actually got into Star Trek. I still remember it was the last day of school, and my dad checked me out from school, and we went and had lunch, and then we went and saw that Star Trek movie, and it was awesome. I freaking loved it.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's really good. And then Into Darkness is not as good. It's all right though. Like, I think a lot of people's issues they have with it is, and this is admittedly an issue that is not new to Star Trek because they've done this before, is they tried remaking Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Yeah. And you don't do that. Benedict Cumberbatch, and this isn't too much of a spoiler really, he's Khan, and he's not the same Khan at all.
I got you.
And they try subverting what Wrath of Khan did and basically doing some kind of role reversal with it, and it's not as good. Huh. They also like downplayed like the colors of the film. Like, it feels a lot less colorful and a lot darker. Okay. Oh, hey, it's called Into Darkness. But, I mean, I really like the aesthetics of the first one.
I love your fan voice. Like Jim Gaffigan has, like, the high-pitched one. And, like, Ronnie Edward has the guy that screams at him.
But, I mean, it was alright. And those 2 films were actually directed by J.J. Abrams, who directed the newest Star Trek.
Is he not doing the new one?
I mean, Star Wars. Huh?
Is he not doing the new one?
No, he was busy with Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Oh, he's busy. Never mind, I'm not gonna say that.
What?
Nothing.
Okay. Nothing. But he was busy with Star Wars, so he couldn't do Star Trek Beyond. Okay. It's actually being directed by one of the directors of the Fast and Furious movies.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I was kind of I was kind of against it because the first trailer was very Fast and Furious-esque. Like, I was like,
what? Too fast, too furious, space.
Like, I was like, what is this?
Final
like,
frontier.
I was like, what is this like extreme sports shit
Car
doing in my
space.
Star Trek? But then they released like a new trailer since then. It actually looks fine. I think the only thing I'm worried about is it might be a little too much like Star Trek Insurrection, which was one of the Next Generation films where they spent most of the time on just like this one planet, which is kind of eh.
Okay.
Although, I mean, sometimes that can work in a Star Trek film. Like, for example, Star Trek 4, they spend most of their time on Earth, and that's actually a really good film. That's actually probably one of the funniest Star Trek films.
Funniest?
Yeah, basically, okay, so, like, if you ever hear about a Star Trek movie with whales, that is Star Trek 4.
Good whales.
Whales, guys!
Whales!
There's this, so, to paraphrase, I think it was James Rolfe, it might have been Doug Walker, though. A giant log of shit is flying through space. Legit looks like crap, and with a disco ball coming out of it. This sounds ridiculous, but it's legit what it looks like. And it wants to talk to the whales.
Uh-huh.
The whales on Earth. But the whales on Earth are extinct.
Okay.
So it comes through and it's like destroying like all like the technology on Earth. Like, imagine like a giant EMP just going off, and like it's causing all these storms to come in and basically destroying Earth. So Kirk, Spock, and all of them have to get into a Klingon bird of prey because the Enterprise was destroyed in the third movie, and they have to slingshot around the sun to go back in time and get whales.
Go on.
And it is like, and they end up in 1980s Earth, and it is hilarious.
I need to see this movie.
You have like Kirk and Spock like trying to ride the bus, and they're like, "What the hell is what is exact change?" And like somebody calls like Kirk a dumbass, and he's like, "Double dumbass on you," and like. McCoy's like, they end up in a hospital at one point, and McCoy's like, this is the like, he's like, this is the freaking Dark Ages. and you have like Chekhov going around because they're trying to find a nuclear vessel so that they can get like fuel, I think, to go back to the future.
Continue, please. I'm in love with this.
And so it's him and Uhura walking around, asking, where are the nuclear vessels? Because he's Russian, in the middle of the 80s, when the Cold War is going on.
The whole Red Scare, awesome.
Yeah, it's actually really funny,
This is getting better by the minute.
It's really funny. And of all the subs that they have to get inside of, they have to get inside the Enterprise. And it's wonderful. It's the funniest movie Star Trek has ever made, and it is absolutely great. Spock's just like...
Is it supposed to be funny, though?
Yes.
Okay.
There's not a whole lot of action in it, but they make up for it by being a funny movie.
Okay.
Spock just had like this whole big ordeal where he died, and so comic book logic, he's totally still alive.
Right.
But...
Comic book logic.
It's weird, and too complicated, and I don't want to go into it, but... He's walking around and he's got like these white robes on. And he's got like this headband around his ears, so like no one can see that he's got pointy ears.
Okay.
And he's like, when they find the whales, they're in a zoo, and he actually like goes and like dives into the tank and mind melts with the whales, and like he's just like got like this like almost like he's like a hippie or something going on.
I have no words.
It's the best. But in relation to those movies, after the 3 seasons of the original series, they Star Trek was off air for a while. There was a animated series, which by today's standards is not good at all.
From 73 to 74, it looks.
Mm-hmm. It was not that great. But they eventually, in 1979, made Star Trek the Motion Picture, which, as I've already stated, is not a very good one. But after that, they made in 82 Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, which was a sequel to to an episode from the original series called Space Seed,
Okay.
where they find basically the result of the eugenics wars, which is something that apparently happens in the 90s. You totally remember that, right?
Totally.
But they find, like, basically, imagine, like, evil Captain America, like, with, like, the... With,
Hail
like,
Hydra?
I mean, like, he's super strong, he's got super intelligence, and he basically tries to take over the Enterprise.
Okay.
But Kirk maroons him on a planet, and then they find him in Star Trek, then, like, a different crew, with Chekhov, for some reason, finds him in, Wrath of Khan, and he, gets off that planet, and he wants to get revenge on Kirk. There's a lot of allusions to Moby Dick, and, like, there's some allusions to, like, King Lear, I think, in it.
Okay.
It's probably one of the best Star Trek movies, if not the, it is at least the second best. That was followed up by The Search for Spock, which is them trying to find Spock's body, because apparently he's not dead, because he dies at the end of the movie, except not. Voyage Home, I just talked about, where they travel back in time. The Final Frontier, which you don't have to watch because it's shit. The Undiscovered Country, which I hear is not shit, but I have not seen it. That one came out in 1991.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in 1987, they came out with Star Trek The Next Generation, which I think took place like 100 years later or something like that.
Uh-huh.
From the original series, and it's got a new Enterprise, a new crew, and the character Worf in that show, who's a Klingon, you actually get to see one of his ancestors in Star Trek The Undiscovered Country, and it's played by the same guy. And then there's more crossovers with that, like you get Scotty from the original series shows up in Next Generation. Spock shows up as well. Spock's dad shows up a lot more than Spock, actually.
Yeah.
And the ultimate crossover, Star Trek Generations, which came out in 1994, where Kirk meets up with Captain Picard. And that movie's okay. It's not great. There's a lot of issues with it, because it's the first Next Generation film.
Uh-huh.
And the way they get Kirk to the future is kind of weird. And they actually kill off Kirk in that movie.
Huh.
And they do it kind of unceremoniously. Like a bridge he's on, like, collapses and he falls to his death, kind of. Oh. And he gets a shallow grave on a planet that nobody cares about, and nobody will ever know that he died.
Sad face.
Yeah.
Star Trek.
Yeah. Star Trek, yay! But after that, well, Next Generation's a lot sadder, I think, than the original series. They have a lot of, like, kind of sad things that happen in that show. Mm-hmm. That introduced the Borg, which is a really big
there's a cosplay group in Tulsa. I see them at, like, every convention. They weren't there at TNT this year, actually. I didn't see them.
Well, they are a hive-minded race that assimilates other races, right. And basically turns them into cyborgs. And they're a big threat in the Next Generation. Picard, the captain of the Enterprise in that episode, in that series, he actually gets turned into one of them. Huh. Yeah, and those events actually lead into Star Trek First Contact, which has the Borg attacking Earth. They are able to stop them, but the Borg travel back in time, because Star Trek loves its time travel, back to before humans make first contact with aliens, which they actually make first contact with the Vulcans, which is kind of interesting. But it travels back in time, and the Enterprise has to travel back in time behind them to try to stop them, because they're trying to stop first contact from ever happening so that they can assimilate Earth.
I see.
And that's actually, if Wrath of Khan is not the best Star Trek movie, then it would definitely be First Contact. I'm a little torn on them. Wrath of Khan might be a little bit better, but First Contact's pretty good. It's a lot more action packed. Wrath of Khan is kind of slow paced, and First Contact's way faster. Plus, also you get to see you get to see what's the name of the guy who plays Picard? Gosh, I'm blanking on his name.
Oh, Sir Patrick Stewart?
Yeah, Patrick Stewart. I don't know how I forgot his name. You get to see him, like, pull out a Tommy gun and just go to town on a board. Just like... And then like he runs out of bullets, and like the thing's obviously dead, and he runs up and he tries to like just slam it with his gun, and like someone has to like pull him back, like stop, no. But it's awesome getting to see him do like action movie stuff. And then First Contact's followed up by Insurrection and Nemesis, which aren't very good, in my opinion. And honestly, during this point in time, Next Generation had ended. It actually ended in 1994. And Deep Space Nine and Voyager were going on at this time. Voyager's kind of like your typical Star Trek where they're traveling through space and they're discovering new planets and stuff. Because the whole plot of that is they get thrown to like the other side of the universe, more or less, and they have to try to make their way home. I'm not a big fan of it. I feel like it treads a lot of familiar ground, and it's not all that interesting.
Yeah.
What I do like though is Deep Space Nine, and that show is for being called Star Trek actually doesn't trek out all that much. They do a little bit. Well, they don't do it. They do a little bit. Like it's about this It's about Starfleet basically taking over a starbase near a planet that recently was freed from this race that had enslaved them for years, and in lieu of actually going around and like exploring, a lot of stories just take place on the centralized station, but it allows for a lot of character development and a lot of character arcs. And one of the coolest things is they actually have a war that happens in the middle of that show. And it's a really interesting thing to see a war in Star Trek. So it's a lot of fun. Star Trek Enterprise came out in 2001. That was the last show that we've had. And it's not all that great. It's a prequel to show a Enterprise and a crew of that Enterprise before Starfleet was really a thing. And it's got a few okay episodes, but it's ultimately not that great.
Right.
And then we actually are getting a new Star Trek series, though.
Yeah.
Coming out in January.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's going to be on CBS All Access, which is kind of cool. So outside of that first movie, what experience do you have with Star Trek? Like, do you have any other experience with it?
Not really. I've seen some episodes of Continues, the Vit Mignogna thing, because I like Vit Mignogna. I don't really... This sounds bad. I don't really have the time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I have to catch up on with a lot of different fandoms, not just Star Trek, but no, I don't have much of any. I said I haven't gotten to see Into the Darkness or anything. I really liked what I saw. I don't ever usually get around to it. So,
I mean, I kind of understand. Deep Space. A lot of the Star Trek shows are still on Netflix, I think. And that's how I watched Deep Space Nine.
Yeah. And
it legit took me years to get through it because I would try watching because the episodes are like 40 something minutes long each, and it would take me forever to get through it. Because like I would get to the point where like every day I'd come home and I would like marathon episodes. Then like I would get kind of tired out of it and stop for a few months and then start up again and do that just kind of over and over again. Deep Space Nine is definitely my favorite show. It's got a large ensemble cast, and so if you don't like one character, that's fine because you'll probably find another one that you like just fine.
I got you.
And there's a lot of character development in it. It's got a lot of really good episodes, and obviously there's some bad ones, but every show's got bad episodes. It's ultimately like I think the best one, surprisingly enough, because there's no trekking in it.
That's funny.
Yeah, but it's really good. If somebody wanted to get into Star Trek, I would either recommend because there's a lot of Star Trek. For a franchise that's been running this long, you can only expect a ton of it. I would highly recommend either starting with the Next Generation or starting with the Wrath of Khan movie. Because even though Wrath of Khan is a sequel to a story from the original series, I feel like a lot of episodes from the original series haven't aged that well. Which comes with the territory of being a show from the 60s. It's just made for a different audience than what we are today.
Yeah.
And some episodes are good, but I just feel like it doesn't age very well. Next Generation is actually the show I started with, as far as like the shows themselves go. And I think it's a good jumping on point. There is some continuity with the original series and the movies, but it's not so much that like someone who's not into Star Trek, who like didn't see the original series, like couldn't watch.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the Star Trek movie from 2009 is a good starting point as well, because that's pretty much a reboot, so it's a fresh starting point, more or less.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Star Trek.
Star Trek. It's awesome, and it's not the worst, and it's not stupid and nerdy, and like because there's this whole thing around
the whole stigma
around Trekkies and stuff, because that's
the thing. Star Trek and Doctor Who were like the first sci-fi things that really caught fire.
Yeah.
And so of course they have those stigmas attached to them better than anybody. And Star Wars maybe a close third.
Yeah.
In that realm.
Well, especially in the U.S., it would be like a close second, because Doctor Who is Doctor Who for a lot of years never really caught on here. I mean, it was on like PBS and stuff, but it never really caught on as
not the
much
way
as
not the
Star
way
Trek.
it had over in Europe. I got you.
But yeah, watch Star Trek. It's actually really good.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's not be as long-winded in this next section.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. I'm going to cut it short and basically be like, you want more? Come to Cwood's channel.
Yeah.
In this segment, that's what I'm going to do there.
I'm sorry.
You're good. Don't worry about it. And next one. Tokyo Tulsa.
So this past weekend, Frank went to Tokyo and Tulsa.
I did.
Yeah, and it was super cool, and the best con that he's ever been to in his life.
I don't know about the best con I've ever been to.
And he had the best time ever in his life, and I didn't get to. So,
I don't know about the best con I've ever been to. It was good. It was a fantastic show, always.
I'm just pretending to be really salty about it.
So me and Shinoa went to Tokyo and Tulsa, and it was different for me. And I'm gonna say that, like, it's not bad. It's just weird at first. I'm kind of changing up the way I do things, mainly because of how things went down at TNT. So because I had Shinoa, I didn't really focus too hard on the guests, because I was mostly I won't say mostly focused. I was really focused on her, though. Like, I wanted to make sure she was happy. I wanted to make sure she was having a good time, because she has social anxiety, and there's 10,000 people around us.
Yeah. That can be a bit of an issue.
That was like the big thing for me at this con, and so I took a plethora of pictures. Don't get me wrong, I think it was 2,700 ended up being the total number. I maxed my card out during the cosplay contest, which had never happened before, and I was freaking out.
Maybe you just need to take less pictures. You take a ton of pictures every time you go to a con.
So my rule, well, I will say rule, my philosophy in photography is like Marcus's philosophy with guns in Borderlands. You don't need a better camera, you just need to take more pictures.
I mean, the more pictures you take, the better chance of getting a good one,
exactly.
Right?
When people are like, how do you take such good pictures? I literally take 20 shots and pray that I get one that's good.
Meanwhile, I mean, like, every time that we go to a con together, he'll, like, be like, alright, got my picture, and I'll still be, like, trying to focus.
Yeah. I'll take 3 pictures and be like, cool, thanks, guys. And you're like, wait, hold on. Click.
But damn, if they're the best pictures you've ever seen in your life.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good pictures.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
So, for those of you that don't know, which is a good number of you, I have to remind you guys every time I go to a con, I've made a convention review form for people to voice their opinions on the cons for me, so that it's not just my opinion spouting out, what I thought, because I'm press and I have some privileges. Like getting to cut in line to that long-ass shanty line to meet them and get autographs. They were cool.
Cool.
God, I want to do. So I'm kind of going to answer my own form and then tell you what the people said. And the first question was, on a scale of 1 to 10, would you be likely to come back? I want to go to every con ever. It's a 5. And it was a really good con otherwise. Like, it's not just, I want to go to all the cons. It's a 5. I want to go to all of the cons. No, I really, really like Tokyo and Tulsa. I've been 8 years now 7 years out of the 9 that they've done. And I missed the first one for DEF CON 7 to meet Johnny Young Bosch, and I missed one a few years ago because I went to EVO. That's something I would change.
Curse you, Evo and Tokyo and
Evo
Tulsa.
and TNT. I don't know if you guys have some conspiracy, but you're always on the same weekend. Always, without fail. It's crazy. So the second question was the highlight of the convention for me. There were a few. Getting to watch a band from Japan who had never been on American soil until now, and they got to get dropped off in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I'm so sorry.
No, I don't think it's that bad. But it is strange because it's like, you know, if you're a foreigner and you think America, you think New York, you think LA, you think maybe Dallas. You don't think Tulsa, freaking Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It's not a terrible place though. I mean, they had a fun time. I know they did. They all told me they wanted to come back. I really want them to come back. They were awesome. Being with Shinoa, our first convention together was really, really cool. You know, getting to hang out. We bought like $50 of Japanese candy. It was
all of the pocket.
It was delicious. Most of it actually wasn't Pocky. We bought like gummies and like matcha and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was cool.
So who were some of the guests other than that Japanese rock band?
Well, there were two Japanese rock bands.
Okay.
Shanty and Meteoroid.
Yeah.
I think it's Meteoroid. I hope it's Meteoroid. That's
it is Meteoroid. One of my friends posted a video of them on Instagram.
Anywho, they were both there. I didn't get to see Meteoroid. I wish I would have. They were playing. Their show was so late that we were like, we're so tired. Let's go home. J. Michael Tatum was the big pull. The voice of Sebastian in Black Butler, and Kiyoya in Oran High School.
Kiyoya Senpai.
Yeah, Kiyoya Senpai.
He's the one with the glasses, right?
Yes.
Okay, just gotta make sure.
He's the one that actually runs it.
He's the one who actually does shit around that place. I love him.
I don't want to say this in a mean way. I don't know how to put it otherwise, though. I don't want to call him, like, B voice actors, but a bunch of, like...
Not quite as well as known?
Yeah, but a lot of them are, like, just getting started.
Yeah.
Rachel Messer was there she was at A2F.
Yes. Yes.
She's actually from Tulsa, so it's not
cool.
It's not like it's a far drive.
Yeah.
She was really cool. We got to see her panel. I don't know if you have her on Facebook or Twitter.
No.
She did a video apparently right after one of her panels where she's like walking like a badass with this big group of people behind her. It's so funny.
I legit didn't even see her at A2F at all.
I saw her for maybe a minute at A2F.
Yeah, but we were like so busy doing A2F that like we didn't even have any time to even pop into one of her panels.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Eric Cherry is another one of those in that group. He's a really, really cool guy. We're friends on Facebook, but he's not like super, like, he doesn't have a whole lot of roles.
Do you remember any of the stuff he's done?
He plays Max in Fairy Tail.
I'm not that far in Fairy Tail.
I've seen pictures of the characters. I haven't seen him in the anime yet. So I know who he is, but I don't...
Hey, Matt, who's Max in Fairy Tail?
Yeah, let's get my roommate up here. Terry Doty. Wendy Powell was there. She's a bigger name.
Remind me what she's done.
Envy.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes! Yeah. Oh my god, I remembered like when I was first hearing about Tokyo and Tulsa, I was like, I need to give him my Fullmetal Alchemist stuff to get signed, and then I completely forgot. Yep.
But yeah, the guests were all cool. I didn't really get to see them for much, though. Like, literally, we saw them maybe once. That story.
That's for a conversation.
Yeah, maybe no. So you get to see it there. But a lot of people are saying the cosplay contest was, like, the highlight of the con for them. I agree. It was cool. My big gripe about the cosplay contest is, like, I understand it's a really big con now. And so it's really hard to, like, get the press in the right spots so I can get good pictures. Mm-hmm. I cannot get good pictures of the cosplay contest. I just can't. I have to take maybe 20 photos, and one of them are decent enough to edit.
Yeah. I understand.
I don't know.
Man, I was so happy I was able to get the spot where I was at ACA, though.
Yeah. Dude, I'm just talking about the spots at ACA. Me and Matt had the best seats in the house.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
We were sitting on the freaking stage.
I came in, like... partway through the cosplay contest because I had other things I had to go do during ACA, but like I remember like I was just lucky to even get that spot. Yeah, which is kind of like a balcony-ish sort of thing that they had there. But that's not relevant. That's not entirely relevant. What I'm saying is like it can be kind of tough to get good spots.
Yeah, it was really tough. I was actually in the crowd Because they said that I could move into the center lane and I could take pictures there, but I'm like, that's not gonna help. Not from where I am. I didn't have my far lens either. And so
you had a shorter lens.
It was bad. But I got some good pictures from the cosplay contest so far. I've edited about half of my pictures. But to move forward, because time constraints, because copyright strikes.
We gotta go!
If I could change anything about the con, I agree with a lot of the people. I have like 20 responses on here. A lot of them, the bag check, man. I understand.
Yes, I heard a lot about this.
I understand that you need to check the bags. There's a lot of people in here. There's a lot of concern. I get that.
Yeah. Especially with like a lot of the stuff's been going on lately. Yeah.
It's not a problem that they ask to see your bag when you walk in the door.
That's not
a problem.
Yeah, that should be accepted by now. Like,
my problem is to get into the game room. Period. Couldn't have a purse even. Couldn't have a bag. Couldn't have a purse. We tried to walk in Friday night with her purse. It's full of shit. You can tell it's full of shit. And they wouldn't let us in, and so we said, "Fuck it."
I read on Facebook somebody who went to Tokyo and Tulsa. They bought one of the gaming passes, and they had to ask for a refund because they brought a game with them that had a lot of stuff that went along with it.
Yeah. That
they were planning on playing, and they couldn't because they couldn't bring their bag into that room.
That's crazy.
And like, there's no carrying that without a backpack of some sort.
Yeah.
So he had to. So I say he. It may have been a woman. I don't know. But whoever it was had to ask for their money back, and it's like, that's definitely an issue.
There's always some growing pains with TNT, and it's not because they don't like have their shit together or anything, but it's because the mass amount of people are always going to bring something they're not ready for.
Yeah.
I know personally, I've worked it.
You were volunteering?
I have volunteered TNT a few years, yes.
Cool.
I have fun stories.
Those are for conversation
Damn
videos
you, McDonald's.
Later.
Yeah, I might tell one of them.
McDonald's.
I'll tell that one later. But the biggest problem with me in the bag check is there's only one area for it, and it's way the hell away from the game room. Like, so there's a big long hallway that have the 3 big rooms where it's like artist alley, vendor room, game room. And in the middle, there's another hallway that leads to a staircase that goes upstairs. You see how long it's taking me to explain where this fucking room is? So you have to go into the middle, down that hallway, up the stairs, into this one area, wait in line maybe 20 minutes to check your bag in, and then go all the way down, back through the hallway, all the way to the end to the game room.
Yeah.
It was a huge hassle.
I read about that on Facebook. One person who was complaining because their cosplay required them to wear heels. And so they were so they had to get their bag checked, and walking up those stairs in heels apparently was a big issue.
I bet that doesn't sound fun.
That sounds like just like a poor placement for it, but
well, it's like that's a good spot. They need another one.
Oh, okay.
Like if they had one directly across the hall from the game room, or even in the game room.
Yeah. I would imagine like if you walk into, and I don't know how big it was, right, but I would imagine like if I was doing it, the way I would have it set up was you would walk in, and right there immediately there would be a place for a bag check.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, growing pains. There's always more to do. Other concerns: the outside food and drink policy. They can't do anything about that, guys. I'm sorry. That's a rule with the Cox Business Center, not with TNT. The lack of 18 plus panels. We're growing up, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool.
It is a family friendly convention.
Yes. And then,
so 18 plus panels are going to have to be at night, I would guess.
Yeah. There weren't many. J. Michael Tatum did them all, I think.
I mean, I personally enjoy 18 plus panels. You know, I think they can be really fun.
Yeah.
Depending on which ones you go to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they didn't have a whole lot, I can definitely see how that would be a negative.
Yeah. And the last question I have for the people that did this form for me, thank you all. I plan on putting your names in the description / on the video of those of you that gave me a name to begin with. Anyway, who would you want to see next year? I'm still on board for the Markiplier for TNT 2017. Just because I think he's a really, really cool guy, and I really, really, really want to interview him.
Yeah. But what are you talking about? He was totally there this year.
There were a lot of cosplayers.
Yeah. I find it so funny that people cosplay Markiplier.
Yeah.
Just because he's like a normal dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. That would be like
But
cosplaying Vic
he's so
Mignogna.
much more than that to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But a lot of people said Markiplier on here. Other people said professional YouTubers. I love that this one person, Kitsune Cosplay, or AO Kitsune Cosplay. Thank you so much. That she explained it to me that it's a YouTube anime cover singer named Nathan Sharp that I don't know.
Wait, Nathan Sharp? What?
You
know this person.
Nate Wants to Battle. Yeah, I know.
I would love to see Nate Wants to Battle.
That would be really cool.
Oh my god, I would die.
DC Douglas, Team 4-Star, Vic Mignogna. There's just a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Of course, they're going to want Vic Mignogna, though.
Vic hasn't been at TNT in years. Since like 2009, I think.
Dang.
No, 2009, 2011 maybe? 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. It's been a while.
There in a while.
It's been a while. He needs to come back. TNT was awesome. Come next year.
Yeah.
You can already buy your tickets now at TNT.com. It's $25.
That's pretty good price.
That's a damn good price.
Do it now. We another thing that happened recently was the Star Wars Celebration.
Oh, I'm getting ahead of the notes. I was laughing for the next one.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah,
the Star Wars Celebration happened.
Yeah. For those who don't know, it's essentially a big convention just for Star Wars. And they have a lot of panels with people who actually work on different Star Wars stuff. And we got some new stuff for Rogue One and Rebels. I think we got a little bit of Episode 8 information as well. Yeah. Jumping right into it, Star Wars Rogue One, we got a behind-the-scenes trailer, which was which was kind of cool. They did one for The Force Awakens as well, back when they were hyping that movie up. And it shows off a few new aliens and a few new and like robots and stuff. There's one that I don't know how to describe it. It looked like a Yeti mixed with a monkey. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like on like a gunner position, and I don't know why, but that one's just so cool looking. I don't know like how to even describe it. It's so cool. It's got like white fur and stuff. It's just awesome. But that was really cool to see like the behind the scenes. I always really appreciate those because
I'm behind the times.
Well, I'm always really appreciative of behind the scenes stuff.
Okay.
Just because I'm very much interested in the film industry.
Yeah.
And one thing that I really love, it kind of really hit me whenever I was watching this, was how practical it all is. Huh. How they actually built all those sets that you see in the film. Whereas in like Star Wars like episode 3 or something.
Yeah.
The one that George Lucas
Star Wars episode CG.
Yeah, where like so much of it is CGI and is very fake looking. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, and Mace Windu are, just going through the Jedi Temple. And Yoda, he's CGI, I can understand that. But that Jedi Temple is just like almost all CG, and it's so fake looking. But then you get to Rogue One, and
at least it's not like the CGI in Mortal Kombat.
Oh god, don't even.
The scorpion skeleton.
Don't even.
It's so good.
Gross.
Give it my mouth, please.
Oh my god.
Right now.
Please stop. Please just stop.
Go on.
But Rogue One, it looks so good, and everything's practical. It's actual sets. It's actual people in like suits for aliens, and like there's going to be some CGI in there, obviously, because you have to. But it looks absolutely great, and just seeing how the camera operators are moving the camera and like the different techniques they're doing is really interesting to look at.
Especially for you, because it's like your shtick. Like
that's my shtick, guys. That's my thing.
My jam.
That's my gimmick. My jam. Boom! Shakalaka.
I gotta stop doing those and actually just download like the things to put
download the soundboard. Yeah. But we got that new trailer for Star Wars Rogue One, which is kind of cool. It was just behind the scenes though, so they showed that and then they just showed the same trailer we've already seen. We did get a new poster for them for the movie.
Yeah, the poster looked really cool.
Yeah, it's got like the Death Star big in the background.
It's probably the thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the thumbnail.
Yeah. It looks really cool. And, I don't know, like, the movie... I've heard issues, like... I've heard people talking about, like, there's issues behind the scenes, but... I don't know. The trailer makes it look really good. It's always cool to see, you know, war in Star Wars, you know?
Yeah.
The Star Wars.
It's a Star, piece?
I don't fucking know. No, but like the war scenes in the Star Wars, like it's interesting to see like a different, especially a different interpretation on it as well. Because this is not George Lucas, it's not J.J. Abrams. It's a very different movie. In fact, there's rumor going around that they won't even have the opening title crawl, which is
what?
Yeah, that's a rumor.
What?
That's a rumor going around right now that they aren't even going to have that.
That's iconic, though.
Yeah, but it's a very well. Keep in mind, it's Rogue One, a Star Wars story. It's not Star Wars episode whatever. It's a very different sort of thing. It's meant to be a spin-off, though.
I don't care. I want the damn credit scroll. I want
God
it.
Damn it! First you put women in their Ghostbusters, now it's Donald Trump. What the fuck?
Where's Boogie when we need him? I need some Francis Rage up in my life.
God damn it!
I'm just gonna make my own soundboard, guys.
Dear God, we need to get him on the podcast.
That'd be cool.
At some point.
If I get to go to Retropalooza, I'll definitely talk to him about it.
Awesome. But yeah, we got to see some more Rogue One stuff. They showed off a new trailer for the show Star Wars Rebels, which that airs on Disney XD, I believe. And they are going to season 3 of that, which I'm surprised. I didn't even realize season 2 had ended. Can you tell I don't watch it?
What are we talking about?
Star Wars Rebels.
I know.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
Okay. Ha 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 ha. Star Wars Rebels, like I've only seen clips of. And the clips I have seen are kind of cool. It's deeply entrenched in Star Wars, in the Star Wars canon, so you get to see some kind of familiar faces mixed in with the new faces. So, like, you get to see Ahsoka in there, all grown up. You get to see Darth Vader. You get to see Rex, the clone, who is a clone trooper from the Clone Wars, very important one. But one character that we'll be getting to see in the new season is Grand Admiral Thrawn. For those who don't,
who is that again?
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah, who is that again?
He is a character who was originally in the novels for Star Wars, the novels that are now not canon with the movies.
How dare they?
Well, his big thing, the big thing with him was his novels took place after Episode 6, so they had to get rid of them for Episode 7 to even happen.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
well, that makes a little bit of sense.
He's got like blue skin, like this white suit, and apparently he's like a master tactician. And I saw the trailer for season 3 of Rebels, and he looks really cool. A lot of people really like this character and were really upset when he was no longer canon. But apparently he's going to be the main antagonist for the new season of Rebels, so that's really cool.
Do we know who he's being voiced by yet?
Oh gosh, I heard it somewhere, but I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
But I think we heard a little bit of him in the trailer. And if I'm remembering correctly, it sounded alright. But it's kind of cool to see him show up. There were other things announced as well. And one of them is there is a actor who was cast as the young Han Solo for the upcoming Han Solo film.
It's Vanilla Ice.
Totally. Totally.
Ice, baby.
Solo rap.
It's not Vanilla Ice, thank God.
No, it's a guy named Alden Ehrenreich. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Elric. It's Alden Elric. Let's just go with that. Anyways,
Space, the final frontier.
But he looks enough like Han Solo for me not to be upset. I have not seen him in anything yet, though.
Star Wars has a habit of doing that, though.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, even back in the day, I mean,
yeah,
Mark Hamill was...
nobody knew who Mark Hamill or Carrie
knew who
Fisher
Mark
were
Hamill was.
when that movie came out. Apparently he was in the movies Hail Caesar and Blue Jasmine, but I've never heard of those. But it's interesting. He looks all right. I can kind of believe him as a young Han Solo.
I've always had a thing about like I don't judge an actor for his role until after it's happened and I've seen it. Because I mean,
Heath Ledger,
yeah, that was actually exactly where I was going with that.
Yeah,
he's gonna be terrible as the Joker. Oh,
and then
best Joker we've seen in a while.
He doesn't even have to be alive during an Oscar. Like seriously, like he is amazing.
Meanwhile, Leo can't suck enough dick to get one until last year. He's like charading sucking dick right now.
He's like, okay, do I have it now? Nah, keep going. God damn it. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, I haven't seen him in anything, but he'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
I highly doubt that they would cast him if he wasn't going to be good. Because Disney, they are going to do their hardest to make sure that
Disney wants them dollars, yo.
Yeah, they want them dollar bills, yo. But yeah, we got to see some interesting stuff from Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah. You know David Lackey, don't you? No Robots Photography?
No, I don't actually.
He's like one of the most well-known cosplay photographers in the area. He actually missed TNT because he was there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he got to go. Fucker.
But yeah, moving on.
Yeah.
You wanted to go? You want to talk about this?
Sure. So there's a new episode of He-Man.
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Yeah.
It looks awful. Like I didn't know this was a thing until today, and I watched the trailer right before we started recording, and literally my response was, I have no words.
Yeah.
It looks like somebody took like clips from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, gave it some rescaling, like made it look a little better, and then redubbed it poorly.
It looks like one of those terrible Flash parodies that you would have seen on Newgrounds back in the day.
Created by Egoraptor.
It legit does not look good.
It's He-Man awesome.
Oh my god. Did you see any He-Man growing up?
Yes. Oh yeah, lots of He-Man.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you liked it as a kid.
Oh yeah. Who didn't like He-Man? What?
Raises his hand.
Here's the thing. You don't like He-Man?
Here's the thing, though. My He-Man was a different He-Man.
Okay.
Because I'm obviously younger than you are. My He-Man was the 2002 animated series, which was the last He-Man thing we pretty much got. And it's a complete reboot, and it was all right. I didn't really care too much about it. Like, I had toys because my parents bought them for me, but that's about it. And it's not the same He-Man at all.
I understand.
As that.
Even looking back in retrospect, if I were to watch He-Man today for the first time, I would be like, "This is shit."
I feel like you can say that about a lot of 80s cartoons. Like,
a lot of
Thundercats does not hold up.
I have too much nostalgia to say you're wrong. like Thundercats was my jam. That's my jam. Anyway,
I've watched old Thundercats. I don't think it holds up as well. However, there was a Thundercats made a few years back. Please stop. They made a rebooted Thundercats a few years back, and it was actually really good. It was really well animated. It was really nice. The action was really good. And Snarf didn't talk. He meowed, and that was it, and it was wonderful.
I don't like it then. Snarf was the best part. It's not true, but
that's not.
Snarf was like
Orko
Navi.
was the best part of He-Man.
Everybody fucking hates Navi, but she has to be in the fucking game. Everybody needs Snarf, all right?
Yeah, he just doesn't have to talk.
I know.
I know.
I fucking love Snarf.
God.
I'm gonna make my kids cosplay as Snarf. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, and you're gonna be the Lion-O.
I'm gonna be Fat Lion-O.
Give me sight beyond sight.
Yep.
But yeah.
Inadvertently call my girlfriend a hoe, and then she's gonna hit me.
But yeah, there's a new He-Man cartoon, and it looks like crap. Honestly,
We'll put a link in the description. You guys can see this garbage. Watch this garbage.
Ugh. But moving on from something that is garbage to something that hopefully isn't garbage.
Something that is godlike. What do you mean, hopefully? This is one of the coolest things Nintendo has done in a long time. So they're re-releasing the NES. This is not a joke. They are re-releasing the NES.
And it's going to have 30 games included.
It is a quote-unquote plug-and-play system.
Yeah.
But it ports to HDMI, so it's already better than all the other plug-and-play systems. It has 30 games built in it, and unfortunately it looks like it's going to be too small to actually hold actual cartridges.
They already confirmed that lid is not open. There's no way to put a cartridge in there.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's the only negative here. That you can't, you can't get another game in it.
Yeah. And there's no, Wi-Fi or anything, so there's no way that you can download more either.
I'm waiting for the homebrew, though.
Yeah. Someone will hack it. But it's got some interesting games in it.
It's got a lot of cool features with it, too.
Yeah.
Other than, like I said, it ports to HDMI.
Yeah. So you're not going to get, that lag that you would get with an actual NES on a modern TV.
Yeah.
I think my only issue with it is, my only major issue is that
it plugs in through USB.
Yeah. It powers itself through USB, which is good for some TVs because some TVs have that, but a lot of TVs don't.
Yeah.
So you'll have to get an AC adapter for it, which you can just do one that you have for your phone. Should be fine. Yeah. But still, it's a little annoying.
So like you say, it's a USB cord.
Yeah.
It's not it doesn't plug into the wall unless you have that little adapter like your phone uses.
Yeah.
The point, again, it's sold as a plug-and-play system. It's supposed to just plug directly into your TV. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a little weird, but Nintendo does that.
It's got some interesting games on it.
It's got a lot of interesting games on it.
Bubble, it's got, I got the whole list here. I'm going to list off some notable ones that I
They're
see.
all notable.
Well, I don't know. I don't think Balloon Fight's that great.
What the fuck? Balloon Fight's a great game.
I didn't really care for Balloon Fight. But it's got Bubble Bobble, which is kind of cool. It's got the first two Castlevanias.
It's interesting that they went with Simon's Quest.
Yeah, because that one a lot of people don't like.
But they also put in Zelda 2, which a lot of people hate.
Yeah.
I personally love that game.
Zelda 2's alright.
I like Zelda 2.
Castlevania 3 definitely would have been the better title there. But, I don't know. Some people probably have nostalgia for Castlevania.
It's got a lot of arcade games with it.
Yeah, like Donkey Kong Jr., Double Dragon 2. Double Dragon 2?
Yeah.
Instead of the original one? I thought the original one, is it, have you played Double Dragon 2?
Not in a long time.
I've never played it, so I don't know if it's any good.
It's a beat 'em up. I mean...
Yeah. One thing that I thought was kind of strange that they didn't have in here was they have Dr. Mario, but no Tetris. I mean, Tetris is on everything, but still, it seems a little strange that they didn't include it.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
They own Dr. Mario, though. It's probably because they didn't have to pay for it.
Probably.
There's a lot. They're 90% of the games on here are Nintendo. Yeah. Duh.
But it's got those third-party games. We already said Castlevania.
Castlevania, Final Fantasy, Ghosts and Goblins. Gradius, which is another, an arcade game, though. So, I mean... Mega Man! Oh, my God. I'm so happy that Mega Man 2 is in this list.
Yeah.
That's what warmed my heart. Other than all these amazing games, Mega Man fucking 2. Mega Man! Shut up!
One thing that I thought was kind of weird, Super C, the sequel to Contra.
Instead of Contra.
Original Contra.
Yeah, instead of Contra, Super C. Yeah. Which I'm actually kind of cool with, because I've played and beaten Contra. I haven't played Super C.
I guess that's
cool.
A decent argument.
Ninja
Gaiden, a.k.a. the game you can never beat.
Well, that's not true. It's beatable. It's really fucking
It'll just
hard.
take you 10 years to do it.
It took Ego Raptor a month. Anyway. It has all three Marios, which is cool. It even has
kinda. I mean, it's Doki Doki Panic.
Whatever. It even has the original arcade Mario Bros, which is cool.
Oh, does it? I didn't see that on there. Cool.
It's got Mario Bros. It's got both Zeldas, the first two Castlevanias, like we said. Kid Icarus, Kirby's Adventure.
Kirby's Adventure, yes, that's a great game. I love that game.
No Mike Tyson, but we do get Punch-Out.
Punch-Out featuring totally not Mike Tyson, guys.
Yeah.
Star Tropics.
Star Tropics.
Which, that's an interesting title. That is a Nintendo title. Have you ever played it, though?
I remember playing it, but I don't remember much about it.
It's one of the more obscure Nintendo titles of the time.
Uh-huh.
But it's still kind of cool seeing it in there. It doesn't get a whole lot of love nowadays.
Like, another really cool thing with me is that they're also selling... It comes with one of these, but it comes with it, like, they're selling, like, an NES Classic controller. The plug-in ports for the controller slots are, like, classic controllers for the Wii U. Which, to me, says... I should be able to plug in any of my classic controllers.
You can. You can actually use your classic controllers.
Classic controller, your fight sticks, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It plugs right in.
We were talking about this on Facebook, and he came to the realization, I could use my fight stick on this. I'm like, yeah.
If only there was a fighting game.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Use your fight stick on.
But I can still play my fight stick, which doubles as an arcade stick for the arcade games, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. The one issue I have with it, and I can't 100% confirm this, but I did hear this from a few places, is that apparently you have to have, at least one of the controller ports, has to have the NES controller plugged in.
Huh.
Which I thought was weird, but it's
I
alright.
mean, it comes with one, so whatever.
One cool thing, though, is that the NES controller will actually work on the Wii.
Yeah,
Wii U.
that's... I was getting there and I got sidetracked. Yeah, so yeah, the NES Classic controller will also work on the Wii U. I said Wii. But that's really cool because you can play your virtual console games with this classic NES controller and feel super nostalgic.
Yeah.
In my opinion, this is already a win.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why this won't sell like fucking hotcakes.
Yeah. I was a little worried for Nintendo going into this holiday season because they didn't have any big game for the Wii U. They had Pokemon.
That might be why they're doing this.
Well, they had Pokemon, which is admittedly a big name for the 3DS, but outside of Pokemon, they didn't have anything else. But definitely with this, I feel like this is going to be a hot item this this Christmas because it's super cheap. Like, it's $60.
$60, which is hella cheap.
Yeah.
Mega Man 2 by itself on the NES is $60.
Well, and a modern game sells for $60. So think about it from a parent's point of view. I could buy new Call of Duty or buy Mario or buy
all three Marios.
Yeah, buy all the Marios,
Castlevanias,
2 Zeldas, 2 Castlevanias, Final Fantasy, all of these, games.
Really, really good games.
Yeah, it's a great deal.
There's not a bad game in the bunch.
I mean,
coming out in November.
Yeah,
which I'm excited for. I'm gonna.
I can finally play Tecmo Bowl.
Oh yeah. I think if I could get rid of any of the games and replace for anything, I'd replace Tecmo Bowl with the original Metal Gear. But I mean,
if I could get rid of a game, like, I'm not sure what I would replace it with, but I don't really care for Dr. Mario or Balloon Fight. I'm a little weird, don't hate me, but I don't like Dr. Mario.
That's not a weird thing. Dr. Mario, it's good, but
I might throw on maybe like Dragon Warrior instead of one of those. Or maybe like another shooter, like, because we have Gradius, which is fine. And we have Galaga. But I don't know. I like those old 8-bit shooters.
I got you. So just briefly, since we still have some time for this segment, I feel like if the NX is a win, that Nintendo will just be the powerhouse forever now.
Yeah.
Because it's like they've sold mobile games the way no one else will be able to with Pokemon Go. They're bringing...
Oh, dude, their stock is like so freaking high right now.
They raised $11 million. They got $11 million out of their company.
Apparently, they've already gotten like $11 million or more from just microtransactions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In a week.
Yeah.
In a week.
Like, that is insane. Like,
it is crazily insane.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason this NES Classic Edition will sell any less than like the Wii did. It's going to print money. This is genius because it's Nintendo's, I want to say, on a console level, it might be their only true win is the fact that you still have all those godlike games.
Yeah.
The original Mario Brothers, all that stuff. Kirby, Metroid, Kid Icarus, all these fucking good games, and it's only $60.
No F-Zero though. No, we'll never give you that.
F-Zero wasn't on the original NES.
Oh no, I'm just making a joke about.
Okay.
Not getting
Yeah, we
F-Zero.
can't get a new F-Zero or Pokemon Snap remastered for the Wii U. That'd be really nice.
One thing that I've heard asked is, do you think if this is a success that they will do the same thing with the Super Nintendo and 64?
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Because I saw some people speculating that they might go as far as like redoing the GameCube and like putting out.
I
Sunshine
see
and
no reason why they wouldn't. If they do the GameCube, it better read discs.
Well, those discs are so small that they could do it. I think.
And it wouldn't cost much more. I don't think.
Honestly, I'd prefer a GameCube Virtual Console ahead of that, but I mean, if we don't get that, I'm fine. But I would prefer, like, rather than having to buy a new machine to play Sunshine, I would like to be able to play on whatever machine I currently have. Which is not an issue here, because most of those games that are on this
if they make,
NES were on the Wii.
If they make that that GameCube, then God knows Sunshine's going to be on that list.
Oh yeah, if it's not, people will get upset, I think.
You will have like the Metroid Prime games. You'd have Melee easily.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Wind Waker, Twilight Princess.
That would be something really cool if they did something like that and put Melee on a system like that.
You know they're going to use it at tournaments. Though.
Ported to HD, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be beautiful. Like I said, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
God, could you
at
imagine?
At the very least, I think they're probably gonna start drafting up plans for a mini.
Could you
Super
imagine
Nintendo.
that mini Super Nintendo though?
Oh, that'd be so awesome!
Jesus, like
I love my Super Nintendo so much.
We're talking A Link to the Past. We're talking Mario World,
Yoshi's Island,
Donkey
Kong Country, all of them.
Maybe
Super Metroid,
yeah.
Kirby Superstar. Final Fantasy VI.
Chrono Trigger.
Yes,
Earthbound.
Chrono Trigger. Earthbound. Oh my God, Earthbound. Like legit. Like this would be amazing.
This is a collector's nightmare, but but I'm so cool with it right now. I've actually recently sold a majority of my collection lately, so.
But this is really nice for you because now you get all those games
exactly.
back.
And I get it in one small system that I can plug right into my TV.
Yeah, and it'll play just like how you remember.
Yes. So happy. The second they announced this, I'm like, oh, it's cool. I just sold my NES. I'm getting all my games back. I said I want Metal Gear, but that's...
Hey, Pat, can you sign my Mini-NES?
Yeah, pretty much. Pat the Mini-NES punk.
Now I'm imagining like a little like mini-me version of Pat the NES punk.
That's so funny. Listen, it's going to win. There's no way it's not. I don't see any reason that somebody will look at this and go, it's what?
Yeah.
This is...
Because, I mean, I've seen it happen where people, like, walk into, like, a used game store and they want to get NES games because they grew up with them.
Yeah.
And this will be perfect for those kinds of people.
Exactly.
Who grew up with this. And then you've got the collectors who, maybe just want...
The collectors like me who want, like, a something that's cheap, something that's small, something that has... Like, it doesn't clutter a whole bunch of room.
Yeah.
It has all the games I need. It's very affordable.
Because, once again, going back to Pat the NES Punk, I mean, his NES collection takes up an entire wall in his house. And, yes, this doesn't have, like, every NES game ever made, but it's a lot of the essentials.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be really good for a lot of those people who, maybe like collecting, but want a lot of the games that they like to play the most in one spot. And it's going to appeal to people like me who... never really got to experience the NES and would like to, experience a good chunk of it.
And on top of that, it'll still feel nostalgic. That's the main thing.
Because
it still feels like you're playing the NES.
Yeah, because it's not a different controller; it's the same controller. Essentially,
that is the most important thing.
And you can actually buy additional NES controllers as well,
which is really cool.
Yeah, so you can get those and use them on your Wii, this or Wii U.
It's so cool.
It's awesome.
All we need is now if the NX is as successful as we all believe it's gonna be with Breath of the Wild and whatever the fuck they're gonna make with it, like Nintendo's back on top. Fuck your Sony, fuck your Microsoft. Nintendo's back in power, baby. As long as the NX doesn't fuck up.
NX fucks up. Nintendo declares bankruptcy. Fuck!
That'll never happen. Even if the NX fucks up.
They're rolling in their Pokemon money right now, so...
They're rolling in so much money.
Yeah.
It's like every time they're like, "Oh man, what's Nintendo gonna do?" Nintendo does something that just prints money.
Yeah.
The Wii, and then
the GameCube wasn't a huge success. Then they come out with the Wii.
The Wii that
the
printed
Wii U doesn't do so hot. Pokemon Go. I mean, they keep finding ways to stay
There was
afloat.
something in between there. The 3DS had something.
The 3DS had its price drop at least.
Yeah, I think when that happened, it sold like hotcakes.
Oh yeah, because I mean, I remember like a lot of people were kind of like, because it was $250 when it first came out.
Oh my god, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, and then they dropped it to like $170, and that was insane. And I remember that's when I hopped on board. I was like, yeah, I'll go do that. I'll go play Ocarina of Time. But yeah.
Yeah. Mini-NES comes out 11/11. It's only going to be $60. I meant to call GameStop before this started to see if they were taking pre-orders on it, but I don't see why they wouldn't.
But I'm definitely down for this.
I just saw this. There's an asterisk on here. It says manufacturer's suggested retail price, $59.99. It might vary.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Might be cheaper.
Or more.
Watch a bunch of people like pre-order and then try to do
Probably.
scalper shit
on
eBay.
The Amiibos. That's what it was. The Amiibos printed like money.
Yes. The Amiibos printed money. Not quite as much anymore.
But when they first came out.
Yeah.
It's how Nintendo does shit.
You couldn't find them anywhere.
Yeah.
And I doubt that's going to be the case with this, but still.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Moving on to more Nintendo news.
Oh, yeah.
So for those who don't know, back in the 90s when the Nintendo 64 was still around, a lot of developers were having issues with Nintendo and their cartridges having limited space on them.
Yeah.
So Nintendo decided to announce the Nintendo 64 DD.
Or disc drive if you're normal.
Yeah. And this used I can't remember what kind of discs, but they were basically discs that were in sort of like a cartridge, like a PSP UMD,
like a floppy
almost.
disk.
Yeah, like a floppy disk or a PSP UMD almost.
Yeah.
And it attached to the bottom of the system, and you could put these discs in, and they had more space.
Yeah.
In them. Needless to say, though, the reason you haven't heard of it is because it flopped terribly.
Terribly.
Yeah, there were 9 games released, and like an F-Zero expansion pack.
I just had it. Where'd it go?
There weren't a whole lot of games. There was like a few Mario art titles. I think there was actually an Animal Crossing released on it. I think the very first one was actually on that system. That add-on. And there's a F-Zero expansion pack.
There was F-Zero X expansion.
Yeah, which let you build tracks, which is really cool.
There were a lot of like Mario Paint games.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Japan Pro Golf Tour.
Oh boy, Japan Pro Golf Tour.
SimCity 64. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
There were a lot of proposed software. Holy God.
Well, there was like some sort of like...
Even a sequel to Mario RPG.
Yeah.
What?
Well, and...
Damn you, Nintendo. That could have been awesome.
Well, here's the thing. Ocarina of Time was supposed to get an expansion on there. Kirby 64 was supposed to be on there.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be Zelda. Like, Majora's Mask was supposed to be on there. There were a bunch of games that were going to be on this.
The biggest one... God, I wish this would have happened. Mother 3 was supposed to come.
Yeah.
Mother 3.
And we never got any of these because it flopped. Except for Mother 3. I think there were other things that went into that one. Not coming out. But it flopped terribly. Nobody bought it.
Yeah.
And so that's why you haven't heard of it. However...
There are only 15,000 units shipped in Japan.
Yeah.
That tells you something.
Yeah. However... there is a YouTuber who goes by the username Metal Jesus Rocks.
He is the Metal Jesus.
Yeah, he's a really cool YouTuber. I watch him a lot.
I don't watch him very much, but yeah, he's pretty cool.
Well, he's actually helped me figure out like collecting stuff because I collect for Xbox, and so he's helped me figure out like some of the essential stuff for that.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I might reach out to him sometime about coming on the show or something.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. But he makes a lot of those videos like. That are like buying guys and like hidden gems and stuff, and because he's a collector, and he actually bought a Nintendo 64 disc drive, thinking that it was one of the Japanese ones.
Yeah.
However, he lives in Washington State, where Nintendo headquarters is located, and it was a prototype for an American Nintendo 64 disc drive.
It's like one of a kind.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Like, nobody thought that, like, this even existed before. Because it flopped in Japan, so why would they even try to bring it over here? But he powered it on, and it had English text, which, on the boot-up screen.
Indicating it's American.
Yeah. And there's like a mysterious, like, blue disc that came with it. And he doesn't know what's on it. He can't get it to start up. Supposedly, though, there's a cartridge that he can plug in that developers would use to test games. And apparently, if he gets this cartridge and plugs it into the Nintendo 64, he could get this disc to run.
Oh.
And Lord only knows what's on that disc.
Yeah.
It could be anything. It could be a game we've never heard of. It could be the F-Zero X expansion. It could be anything.
It could be Mother 3.
I mean, they showed... There's a trailer for the Nintendo 64 version of Mother 3, so Lord only knows. It could possibly be that. I find it highly unlikely, but Lord only knows what it is. But how cool... Like, do you think that they could have gotten the disc drive to work at all? Like, do you think they could have gotten it to be, like, viable in an American market?
No.
No?
to be straight up, no.
No?
It looks clunky. It's an add-on. It's not a system. I mean, if you don't have an N64 already, you have to buy an N64 on top of this new device. It's a floppy drive.
Do you think it would have gone the way of, like, the Sega CD or the 32X?
I think it would have went the way of the Virtual Boy.
Oh.
I think
bad.
I think it would have flopped just as hard as it did in Japan.
I mean, I think it's a cool, like, concept. But it was obviously Nintendo trying to cater to, you know, the PlayStation developers and like no, Square, please come back.
Yeah.
No, you totally put Final Fantasy VII on our system. It totally
that was something that really hurt them.
Yeah. But it flopped, and we'll never.
Can you imagine if they'd have made like Final Fantasy VII in like multiple cartridges?
Oh god, that would have been so bad. I don't even know how you would get that to work. Maybe like a controller pack, like one of those safe controller pack things.
That'd be weird.
Because I know like Banjo-Kazooie tried doing something where you would swap the cartridge for like Banjo-Tooie with like Banjo-Kazooie or something. There was like a hardware revision where like originally you would have like 10 seconds to swap them, and then it was cut down to like below 1 second because of a hardware revision, so they cut it out. But yeah, like that would have been really interesting to see Final Fantasy VII or really any sort of Final Fantasy on the system, because Nintendo 64 lacked heavily in RPGs.
Yeah, I think
there's like
that's probably something that really hurt the system.
Yeah, there's like Quest 64 and Paper Mario. Those are the only two I can think of.
It's probably, I bet you anything, it's the cartridge.
Yeah.
It's the lack of space.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the cartridge, Nintendo 64 was like the second console I ever owned. Mm-hmm. First one being Super Nintendo. And I understood how cartridges worked, and it was really good for a young kid. Yeah. Because it's easier to, it's not as hard to break a cartridge as it is a CD.
That's debatable.
I mean, you drop a CD and it can be fucked up, but then like you drop a cartridge, it's usually fine.
Putting it into the system though is a totally different story.
Yeah, well, I mean,
there's a lot more room for error.
Yeah, but I never had any issues with it.
I can understand that. I'm just saying, I know kids that
it seemed fairly simple to me as a kid.
Yeah.
But and it was great for load times. There's like hardly any load times on that system. And that worked great for a lot of games, but RPGs just, they need that space.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, it's speedrun on 64 because of that. The PS1 load times is like a minute per screen.
Yeah, it may not have really, all the songs, or even all the songs in their full versions, but I mean, those load times are insane. Yeah.
I have a quote from Miyamoto about the DD if you'd like to hear it.
Go ahead.
It says it would have been easier to understand if the DD was already included with the N64 when it first came out. It gets harder explaining after the fact.
Yeah.
That's how I feel
totally
about it.
That,
if it would have came out with the N64, like even as a separate entity and have a bundle pack or whatever, like at the same time, it wouldn't have been so hard to sell.
And I mean, and I totally understand why they did it, because they were heavily pressured by developers. Like, we need more space. I mean, I'm still surprised that Resident Evil 2 fits on a Nintendo 64
That's
cartridge.
crazy.
Yeah. I'm still surprised at that.
You think about the depth of Chrono Trigger, or Earthbound even,
Yeah.
fit on a little SNES cartridge. Yeah. That is crazy.
Luckily, those were 2D games, though. So
yeah, but I mean, even still, just the sheer length, all the numbers, all the weapons. There's 6 endings, and a New Game Plus mode.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Chrono Trigger. Could you imagine back in the day when Chrono Trigger was originally came out, that it would be on a Nintendo DS cart that's like this small?
Yeah, right.
Is like, it's amazing with technology how much we can put on.
You've seen
cartridges now.
Patton Oswalt's joke about going back in time and meeting his younger self.
Oh yeah.
And he's listening to his Walkman and he's laughing. He only gets like 4 songs on his little Walkman. And he's like, all right, now break that in half and then break it in half again. You'll be listening to music on something that small. It's like, wow, how many songs does it hold? Every song you've ever heard in your life, ever.
Yeah. It's amazing what technology can do nowadays.
It is crazy. But yeah, N64 DD, it's cool to see you have. Like, if I found one.
I mean, it's something that, we never even knew existed.
Yeah, that's really what's cool about it.
It's like that orange Halo Xbox that Metal Jesus showed off in the video. Like, nobody knew that this existed. It's actually really cool because he finds a lot of this stuff because he lives in Washington State, where Microsoft and Nintendo are both located.
We need to move to Washington.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alrighty.
Still on the topic of video games, a new trailer came out for Batman, a Telltale series.
I'm actually really interested in this.
Yeah. The first episode launches on August 2nd. And then the season pass disc will come out in September. Which is
it's interesting to me. Cause when you think of the Arkham series, especially, the Rocksteady beat 'em up action.
Yeah.
Action being the key word. You take all of that away and you try to produce just a storyline driven game. I'm not saying it can't be done. Telltale makes amazing work.
Oh yeah, definitely The Walking Dead season 1 and 2 are great.
The Wolf Among Us.
I never got around to finishing that one, but what I played was really good. Tales from the Borderlands. I am not a Borderlands fan, and I freaking love that game.
That game is so good.
I will name my firstborn after Loaderbot.
That's funny. But yeah, so Telltale Batman. I feel I'll probably buy it. I'll probably love it. I think it might be a hard sell, a little bit.
Yeah,
for that reason.
Well, I feel that part of it is that, especially in today's consciousness, we think of Batman as this ass kicking dude. Because with all the of all the blockbuster movies that he's been in,
and
the last movie he was in was called Batman v Superman. Literally, it is a versus fight. Let's fight each other movie.
Prize fight.
It's prize fight. Tonight on WWE, Batman v Superman. Anyways, but we think of him as this action superhero.
Yeah.
But really, if you think about it, he's a detective.
Yeah. He's
considered to be one of the world's best detectives. And I feel like if they focus on the detective work, this can be a really good series.
From the trailer, it looks like they're going to put in some political angle. Harvey Dent, I think, is the main bad guy. Two-Face.
He isn't the bad guy yet. He's not Two-Face yet. But he's running for mayor.
Yeah. So it's probably tell through the story of...
Yeah, we might see the origin of Two-Face here. But one thing that I think is really interesting is that they're setting it up to where the main villain is the Falcone crime family, which is a really big crime family in the Batman mythos. Mm-hmm. I think that's interesting because in most things that we see Batman in, we see him fighting the Joker and the Penguin and the Riddler, Mr. Freeze, Bane.
So many more villains.
Yeah, we see him fighting all these super villains though.
Where's my game where Batman fights Calendar Man?
But we see him fighting all these super villains. We don't see him fighting a lot of thugs though.
Yeah.
A lot of mobsters and stuff. And I think it'd be really cool to have that focus on him fighting, the mobsters and all that. Because we don't see that as much as we do him fighting the supervillains, which it's obvious, which is happens for obvious reasons. Supervillains are cool, but it would be but it's nice to see him fighting regular people.
I think it's a little more than that, though. I mean, if you have Batman fighting thugs and he struggles, is he really as super as a superhero should be? Versus when he fights a supervillain who has messed up fucking superpowers. There's a difference there, unfortunately.
Well, one of the interesting things about Batman, though, is that he is supposed to be like yeah, he's a millionaire, but he's just a normal human. So seeing him fight, someone, with superpowers, and still being able to triumph over that is cool.
Yeah.
But it makes sense how he would struggle against a normal person with a Tommy gun.
Sure.
I don't know. I think this is going to be a very interesting series. I think my one concern is that they're going to throw in a supervillain somewhere, and it's going to be the main, and it's going to be like a huge focus.
It's probably Two-Face.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely setting up for Two-Face, I think. If not in this one, it might get a second season. So
that would be cool.
Yeah,
I'd be really cool with that.
Yeah, and I bet you it might just be the Joker because everybody wants to have the Joker.
I don't think they'll do it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think they will. Because you can't get Mark Hamill, so your only option is Troy Baker at the moment. Yeah.
But Troy Baker, he would probably do it.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. Yeah, you pay him enough, he'll do anything.
Oh, yeah.
He is an actor.
He'll be a chimpanzee, if you pay him.
I mean, my point is, though, that with Suicide Squad coming and another Joker already, we're talking, the fifth one if you include Hamill?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think they'll do it.
But with that, Suicide Squad is coming out around the same time that this is.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad might just be really hot. It might be a big deal.
Right.
It's not out yet, so we don't know. Mm-hmm. But with Jared Leto as the Joker in that, I wouldn't be surprised if they throw the Joker in here to try to milk some success off of that.
I don't know. I feel like it would draw too much comparison, and I don't feel like they'll beat out. I don't think they'll beat out Leto.
I mean, honestly, I don't really know. We don't know what they're going to do beyond episode 1 because what Telltale typically does is when they release a trailer, it just shows stuff for episode 1.
Right.
Honestly, though, I think it looks really good.
Another point, with the storylining elements of Telltale games, I don't see the Joker working very well in that kind of situation.
I just remembered they showed Catwoman in the trailer, though, so we do get to see a bit of her as well.
To see some of her bits.
I
went there.
I really like the design of Batman, though, in this one. I think I think it's sleek. It's not, too crazy. He's got very short, he's got the very short bat ears on his cowl. It's very sleek. I think it's a very
He's not super buff, but he doesn't look scrawny.
Yeah. It's a very clean design.
Yeah.
And I really like it. And that's one thing that I don't necessarily like about Telltale games is that they typically have a very kind of dirty look to them. Especially since I've played a lot of the Walking Dead games and Tales from the Borderlands, and those have very kind of dirty areas in them. But I don't know, that's how it feels like.
I think Batman fits right in.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just an issue I have is that a lot of their games look kind of dirty, a bit too sketchy, almost with the art style. And I get a bit of that with this one, but I feel like it looks like its own thing, and it looks like it came right out of a comic book. If you've read the New 52 Batman, which I have the first volume of it.
Right.
It looks like it came practically right out of that.
That's pretty cool.
So it's incredibly faithful to the Batman art style.
So if this succeeds, do you think that Telltale will move on to maybe Spider-Man or? I
don't think Spider-Man, but maybe more DC characters.
Spider-Man would be so cool though.
Yeah, but I don't know, because Spider-Man, I think.
What do you think, a Telltale Fantastic Four even? Well,
my thing is that I think they could definitely tell a good story. I don't think it would fit in with those characters, especially Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's a very action-oriented character when I think about it. He's got a lot of, life stuff that happens, and I feel like that could work with a Telltale style, but I don't think they'd be able to do the action scenes quite right. Because Telltale's action is typically quick time event style.
Yeah.
And I don't see that working with Spider-Man. Or really Fantastic Four. Although, I would like to see them tackle at least maybe get some of the writers from Telltale and the people who structure the stories from Telltale to do as the story for a Fantastic Four game. I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't see that really working quite as well.
Who do you see working? And
like superhero wise.
Yeah.
Honestly, like Batman, like I think because you can use the detective angle is good.
The dark and gritty themes.
Yeah, maybe Green Lantern might work.
That would be weird.
Well, the thing with Green Lantern though is, if you think about it, Green Lanterns are just cops.
Right.
They're cops in space. So, and I've read a few, and I've read some Green Lantern Corps books where they have to try to investigate things, and they don't go too deep into investigations with that. But I think if you wanted to take it from the angle of here's a space cop, I think it could work. Maybe I don't know enough about that character. I was almost going to say Nova from the Marvel side of things, but I don't really know enough about his character. Because I'm mostly thinking of the Nova Corps.
Yeah.
When I think of that. Although maybe Guardians of the Galaxy could work.
Maybe.
I feel like I feel like they would hit the humor of the movie just right with that.
I think the Hulk.
Really?
I think the Hulk would be a great
As a Telltale game?
Yeah. It would be a great story. You do it the same way you did the Wolf Among Us. You haven't gotten that far, probably.
I probably know.
When he actually turns into the big bad wolf.
Where he's struggling to try to keep from turning into the wolf, and where he's struggling to keep from turning into Hulk. I kind of see that angle. That could work actually.
I think the Hulk would be an awesome Telltale game.
Yeah, and I mean,
told way better than the movies. Shots fired.
Oh, take that, Edward Norton. Go back to Fight Club.
Take that, Bruce Banner.
God. Those movies are bad. Well,
they're pretty bad.
I enjoy the Incredible Hulk some. I feel like
he's a great character.
Yeah.
The movies just don't do it justice.
I'm talking about the movie The Incredible Hulk, though. I can watch that one. I can sit down and watch it. It's just not as good as it could have been.
Yeah, I agree.
Liv Tyler, really? Really? Get the fuck out. But we're off on a tangent that has nothing to do with it. The Batman Telltale games it comes out on August 2nd. I'll probably
3 weeks.
Yeah, so I'll probably pick it up.
Cool. I'll probably wait for the deal, the season pass.
Yeah.
Or wait till the whole game comes out because
that's usually what I do with Telltale games, but
I don't like waiting.
Yeah. Well, in Telltale games, like one episode flows into the next, usually. Right. So you can sit down and play them, and like you can get through an episode in like 3 hours or so.
Yeah.
And there's usually like 5, so that's like a 15-hour game. And so I don't know. I want to buy it when it comes out, but then it's like, yeah, I know I'll be waiting like a month for the next episode.
Yeah, I don't see me doing that. I'll just wait for it to get done. And
yeah.
I need to go buy Tales of the Borderlands.
Oh, it's a great game. Yeah. It really is.
I played the first episode.
Yeah, it's great. I really enjoyed it. And I don't even like Borderlands, so that tells you something.
I don't know why you don't, but it's a great game. I love Borderlands.
Well, I started with Borderlands 2, and I've been told it's a bad place to start.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, so moving on to our last topic. The Evolution series fighting game premiere tournament. It's like the Super Bowl of fighting game tournaments.
Yeah.
Happened this last weekend.
Super Smash Bros. 4, Super Smash Bros. Melee.
There were so many games.
Street Fighter 5. Just all the big name fighting games.
Yeah, all of it. Like literally,
Mortal Kombat X.
If it's a fighting game, they played it.
Blaze Blue, whatever the hell entry we're on.
There's a lot of really cool things to tell here. I need to start my timer. But there's a lot of really cool stories inside of Evo that happened. First of which is that it happened in this massive stadium. It felt very esports this year. Yes, we are esports. I love it.
He showed me video of it, and yeah, it's a massive stadium that it was in.
Stadium.
It felt like a proper sporting event.
Just some of the highlights that I remember. A Japanese player from Japan. A Mega Man player from Japan placed second in Super Smash Bros. 4. And if you follow Smash 4, nobody thought Mega Man was a good character. Nobody.
Yeah, and
I didn't think I dropped Mega Man for a reason.
I'm kind of a casual Smash player. I mean, I'm not horrible, but I'm definitely not on a competitive level.
Right.
And yeah, I don't even play as Mega Man. Like, it's not.
I don't want to say he feels clunky. He's just like super technical character.
Yeah.
Super technical character. He's perfect the way he is in the game. Like, he feels like Mega Man, but it's not. It's so hard.
It feels like Mega Man, but it's not perfect for a fighting game.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Guess we gotta go back to Street Fighter Cross Tekken. God.
They actually played that at Evo.
Oh, God.
Yeah, not joking.
Bad boxer Mega Man, though.
But yeah, so he plays second. That's so cool. It just goes to show that, like, people like Amsa, the Melee Yoshi player from Japan. Oh, Yoshi's awful, but Amsa does so well. But it's like, you can play anybody you want. You can be good with anybody you want, but you have to put in the more work the lower down that tier list you go. Because bad characters are bad for a reason. Mm-hmm. It's just the way of life. Yeah. Tiers exist for that reason.
Nah, man, tiers are for queers.
It's not true. Tiers are very important.
Yeah.
Tiers are super important.
That's why so many people play as Sheik. Yeah.
Sheik, Mario. I don't know if Zero Suit's still top tier. There's been an update since I last kept up with it. I just stopped picking it up. The second story, still on Smash. Hungrybox finally gets his win. After placing 4th, 2nd, and 2nd.
And this is now this is Melee.
Melee,
right?
yeah. Super Smash was Melee. Is he still with Liquid? Hungrybox, the Jigglypuff player, there's actually a big story behind this. He told a story on his YouTube channel. I think it was actually on Twitch, but he put it on YouTube, which is where I watched it, about how his dad told him, "You'll be good, but you'll never be the best." And he always, that always lingered with him. And being able to firmly prove his dad wrong and, go through all of that and becoming the actual best in the world at the moment. That's really cool.
Yeah. It's a really great story. It's really inspirational.
Yeah.
See that, Dad? I can totally do this.
It's cooler when he tells it. But yeah, it's just a lot of animosity there, and it's cool to see him finally pull the big one off. Speaking of getting their first Evo win, in Marvel side of things, New York Chris G finally gets his win.
We see Marvel side of things. You mean Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or 2?
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Okay.
Marvel 2 is a side tournament now.
Okay.
It doesn't take the spotlight.
I wasn't sure if it was still the big deal or if the third one had
Marvel 3 is very much...
Shows you how much I keep up with the fighting game scene.
He actually beat last year's champion.
Ooh.
Yeah, KBR, which it's a terrible matchup for KBR, but yeah. Chris G with the Morgan Doom Virgil crap. Oh, it's so stupid, but it's so good. I love watching it, and I hate playing against it. That was really cool. You'll see Chris G finally get his thing.
The Mortal Kombat X tournament.
Yeah, with Sonic Fox having to fight extremely hard for that win.
Yeah. He was fighting a Kotal Khan player.
Yeah.
And good God, no, I never would have guessed that someone would be choosing Kotal Khan and would have gotten that far. How far was it again? Just to make sure that
he plays second.
Yeah, second. Yeah, exactly. Kotal Khan second. I never would have guessed.
Drove Sonic Fox to his absolute limits.
Yeah.
Which is something we have never seen the depth that Sonic Fox had to go to.
Sonic Fox took off his hat, which never happens.
Never happens.
And
not once.
When that hat comes off, it's like, holy shit, this just got real.
Yeah, but he got his win for the second year in a row. He's going for the 3-vo.
The 3-vo at Evo.
Which I don't think I meant to look this up too before we did this segment. I don't think many people have actually gotten 3 wins in a single game at Evo. Okay. My computer, I thought it froze for a second. I was like, no! What else was there? Oh, very briefly, I don't know the dude, but a Tager freaking won BlazBlue? Yes! I'm so happy about that. Tager is awful.
I don't know anything about BlazBlue, so I wouldn't know.
He's like Zangief.
Oh, okay.
Except he has more range options and he's better than Zangief, but...
He's like Zangief, but better!
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of Zangief going to Street Fighter V, America was represented pretty fucking well. Better than we thought. Better than any of us fucking thought. Mm-hmm. Justin beat Daigo. Arturo Sanchez beat... what's his fucking name? I don't remember his name. I've drawn a blank. Evil geniuses.
Don't look at me. I don't know.
It starts with an M. It's not Mago. It's I keep wanting to say Mango. He's a Smash player. Anyway, he beat a really, really good player from Japan. That doesn't begin to explain it. And I don't remember if it was Sakanoko or if it was the Street Fighter 4 Sagat player that I can't think the name of right now. I am blanking like really hardcore right now.
It's like when I forgot the name for the actor who played Picard.
Yeah.
How do you forget Patrick Stewart?
But yeah, PR Rog got a good win against them, and fucking Long Island Joe.
Long Island Joe.
Who?
Good God.
I've never seen him anywhere near top 8 at Evo ever.
He finally
He plays fifth.
There. Yeah, and I mean fifth isn't it's
No,
not top
for,
3, but
for a
it's
2,200 man tournament.
It's still really damn good. Yeah,
that's still in the money for Evo. So
yeah, exactly. It's amazing.
Yeah, it looked really cool. Oh, the biggest news though that I almost forgot to mention, the top 8 for Street Fighter V was broadcasted on ESPN2.
Yes.
With really, really good numbers, especially for the time spot.
What time spot was it?
It was like 9-10 at night, our time.
Oh yeah, like no one's at least like normal ESPN viewership, I would imagine, wouldn't be watching it that.
But it matched Twitch's viewership.
That's really good
during that time.
Yeah, because I mean, most people watch these tournaments on places like Twitch, and so to see a TV network, adopting this and getting similar numbers, that's amazing.
Yep. Are we esports yet?
Are we actual sports now? Because there's been a lot of contention about whether or not esports deserves to be on TV.
Yeah.
In the same sort of.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while too.
Yeah. I mean, because remember when I think it was like the Dota World Championships was on like ESPN2.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of uproar from some people about that. Like, what the hell is a video game doing on my sports channel?
I mean, that's just a thing that's going to happen for a little while.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like we're finally starting to get to that point where esports are recognized enough as a sport to really deserve to be on there. Because I mean, come on, they show freaking poker and spelling bees on ESPN.
Yeah.
How's your spelling bee any better than esports?
The whole point, like they'll argue that there's no physicality in esports or whatever.
No
and it's
physicality in spelling bees.
Exactly, that's my point.
There's hardly any physicality in poker. Is like maybe like
the biggest,
look at someone's face.
The biggest thing is prestige.
Yeah.
Esports up until now hadn't had the prestige because video games are still very new in the long scheme of things.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The spelling bee has been going on for 80, 90 years. I agree with you. It's dumb. No, it's not. It's not my thing. That's what I mean. It's not actually dumb. It's a very cool thing.
If you like spelling bees,
if that's your thing,
all right.
Very cool.
Some of those words are hard to do. I mean, you ever had trouble spelling something? Yeah.
You're definitely smarter than me. I mean, I have Google, so
yeah. I have Google and autocorrect and all this.
My point is that I lost it. What was my point, Cwood?
Your point was that video games are really new.
Yes.
And
they don't have that same prestige.
Yeah, and esports itself as part of video game, like,
I mean, esports have maybe been around 10, 15 years.
Yeah, like with like the rise of like StarCraft and stuff is really when esports.
Halo 2.
Yeah, and Halo 2.
When MLG started.
Yeah, like that's like Halo, StarCraft is what really started the esports craze, and so it hasn't been around for that long, 10, 15 years. Yeah. So I'm glad that we're finally getting to a point where people are starting to accept it.
Yeah, that's basically what I have to say about it. It makes me really happy to see how far Evo has come, especially considering I was there 3 years ago, and it was in just a really big ballroom in Vegas.
Because it is in a massive stadium now. It's a proper sports event. And it's great to see that.
Like in comparison, when I went to Evo, there were 2 ballrooms, and there was the main room where everything was actually happening, and in the other room they had like a few vendors, some independent developers, like Dive Kick was being shown off. You could play Dive Kick there.
Dive Kick,
because that's when like the game was first coming out.
Yeah.
and they had just a big screen that was showing the broadcast from the other room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not fucking watching from the other room.
It's in the other room. I'm gonna go
I'm
over
literally
there.
right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch it in there.
I mean, that's probably for maybe the vendors and stuff as well.
Yeah, I guess.
And people who don't want to miss something, but they want to buy something.
That probably makes more sense.
Yeah.
But it was I don't know. It's much more cool to be in the action than it is to be watching on your TV.
Definitely.
So yeah, I hope I get to go in the next coming years, but they don't cater to press very much, and so I'll have to get funding somewhere else. But till
Start
then,
up an Indiegogo campaign.
Right.
Help me get to Evo.
But yeah, that's our episode, guys.
That's another episode of the Fandom Fighters podcast.
I want to start off our ending segment by saying that if you are an artist or you are aspiring to be an artist and you want to be featured on our podcast, all you have to do is go like the Fandom Fighters podcast page on Facebook. And every week before we start recording, I will give you guys the list of what we're going to be talking about. Just draw something. Send it to us. We'll use it. We are desperate for thumbnails.
Well, we use a lot of, just images off the internet that are kind of bland and boring. And we'd like to see, we'd like to spice it up with something more.
We'd like to collaborate with you guys.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We want to make you guys a part of it as much as we can.
And we don't have any Stride gum, but we can pay you an exposure.
Nobody ever pays me in gum. You guys can find me on Facebook or Twitter at the Dude Frank Whack. Mm-hmm. If you're watching this on my channel, cool, subscribe please. If you're not watching this on my channel, you can go find me somewhere on the screen, or you can go to youtube.com/Frank Whack Promotions.
No, Productions. On Facebook. Oh, okay.
Promotions everywhere else.
It's Productions on YouTube because YouTube won't let you change the URL, and it's Promotions on Facebook.
Yes.
But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Cwood Director. I'm also on Instagram. I don't. I occasionally post stuff on there. So
you posted today, actually.
Yeah, I actually posted in the middle of the podcast. Yay!
What a dick!
What an asshole! If you're probably listening to this on my YouTube channel, so please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it.
Shameless self-plug.
I need the subscribers, please.
Subscribers, please. I'm almost at 200, guys.
I am still hovering just over 100. And yeah, that's where you can find me on the internet. Please check out the Fandom Fighters podcast Facebook page, like you mentioned earlier. We post updates on there. We post stuff that is
articles that we don't have a whole lot to talk about, but we feel like you guys should know about.
Yeah. And just a bunch of different stuff. So if you want to stay up to date with us, and the Fandom Fighters podcast, definitely check out that Facebook page.
With thank you in advance.
Yeah.
But until next time, guys, I am Frank Whack.
And I'm Cwood Director.
And we will see you all next time.